of Russian forces. Belarus losing their nuclear neutrality. It's in a process of satellisation with respect to Russia. Now it's up to Russia, to the Russian leadership, to decide how they want to be seen by the international community and by history. On Bosnia and Herzegovina, we discuss about how to preserve the sovereignty, the territorial integrity and the unity of the country. We have urged political leaders to take responsibility to preserve the constitution, ensure full return to state institutions, and this will open issues. There is no place in Europe for a divided Bosnia-Herzegovina, and those who work in this direction are strongly wrong. They are depriving their people of a prosperous European perspective on life. The ministers expressed their full support to the European Union Special Representative, the European Union force out there, and to the High Representative Smith, and to the efforts of facilitation that we are deploying from the External Action Service under my direction and from the US Special Representative. Both are trying to facilitate the political dialogue in order to reach an agreement on the electoral reform, on the constitutional reform, including limited constitutional amendments that are improving, that could improve the functionality of the Federation. We are ready to use all the instruments available if the situation will require. This certainly includes financial assistance and restrictive measures, but this will be used as the last resort, and certainly we would prefer the dialogue and the agreement between parties in order to ensure the reforms needed to develop the elections, the forthcoming elections. We discussed about climate diplomacy. We had the Joint Ministerial Council with the Gulf Council cooperation. This is a key moment for the resumption of our high-level engagement, 6 years without a meeting with the Gulf. It's time to recover our reach out with these countries. We are the biggest investor in the Gulf, we are the second trade partner, but our political reach out, our political engagement is not high enough. So we committed to work closely on green transition, to work closer together on development cooperation and humanitarian action. We discussed a lot about the situation in Yemen, and we issued a joint statement from the two presidencies and approved a 5 years joint cooperation program, which includes initiative on transition and change, climate change, on trade, investment, education and research, and people-to-people contacts. This was the easy and nice part of the meeting. It was a pleasure to receive here the 6 members of the Gulf Association Council, Cooperation Council, and to discuss with them our future engagement and cooperation. This was, as I said, the easy part. The more difficult part was certainly to discuss about Bosnia-Herzegovina situation and the Ukrainian situation. We also discussed about Mali and the current affairs, but we are waiting for some information that we should get on the next week base in order to take decisions on the next Foreign Affairs Council about our military missions in Mali. And that being said, Peter, I remain at you this moment.
So we go to the questions, and we will take the combination of questions from you here in the press room, but also from the colleagues who are connected remotely. The first one I spotted was Thomas Gutschker, Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. We have a microphone over there.
High Representative, when you say that we are ready to take or to show a strong and united against a recognition of the so-called People's Republics. I'm here. Yes, here. When you say we are ready to show a strong and united front, could you please explain what this means in practical terms? Are you implying that, for instance, the sanctions package that has been prepared could be triggered by such a move? And if not, which other tools does the European Union have to deter such a move? Thank you.
Es eso. That's it. I was thinking in Spanish, but let me go to English. That's it. Certainly, if there is annexation, it will be sanctions. And if there is a recognition, I will put the sanctions on the table, and the ministers will decide. Keep in mind which is the process of sanctions. According with the treaty, sanctions are being approved by the Foreign Affairs Ministers' Council by unanimity under the proposal of the High Representative. So it's my responsibility, and I will certainly put on the table the sanctions package that has been prepared if such a thing happens.
Next one, we take colleagues connected remotely. Richard Josviak, Radio Free Europe. Richard, your microphone should be open any moment now. You can go ahead.
Yes, Mr. High Representative, I hope you hear me. If you mentioned Belarus as well, are you ready to push for the 6th sanctions package to be adopted ahead of the next FAC if this militarization of the country continues? Thank you very much.
Belarus is part of the aggression. If there is a participation of the Belarus territory or institutions, certainly yes. If there is a Russian aggression that takes place from Belarusian soil, with the agreement, participation and commitment of the Belarus, certainly Belarus will have to be sanctioned in equal step than Russia.
Okay, thank you. Next question, Yuri. Go ahead.
Yuri Shiko, Deutsche Welle. High Representative, you just said that should Russia recognize these two separatist republics, you will put sanctions on the table. Does it mean that you will put the prepared package of sanctions that you said today yourself that the work on this package has been finished? Will you put this package on the table, and will you also convene an extraordinary Foreign Affairs Council for that? Or maybe will there be an extraordinary summit of the EU? And the second question, today Ukrainian Minister Dmytro Kuleba has said that the best signal to Putin would be to provide Ukraine with the perspective of the EU membership. I know, of course, how different EU member states have different views on this matter, but can you tell us, was there a discussion on this point, and maybe, or if not, then do you plan to initiate a discussion of this issue? Thank you very much.
Well, I understand very well that for Ukraine, not from now, since ever, since independence, the European perspective has been a beacon, as it was for my country, Spain, at the end of the dictatorship. And it's clear that Ukraine has a European perspective, and we are helping Ukraine to develop reforms in order to approach this perspective. And this is maybe what is the problem with Russia. Ukraine is not a military threat to Russia, come on. But a fully democratic Ukraine, a prosperous Ukraine, a country which the standards of freedom and prosperity of the European Union, this is a mirror that represents a danger for the Russian political system. And certainly we want a fully democratic and prosperous Ukraine on a way to the European perspective. It doesn't mean that tomorrow we are going to propose European membership, but certainly we want to help Ukraine to be a like-minded country with the same kind of political democratic systems, free market economy that we have. Look, we have a package prepared. This package has certain components that can be implemented with certain degrees, depending on the level of the aggression. Can I speak? You're kind enough. Thank you. So this package is, I'm not going to invent the package by myself. I'm going to present the proposal that has been built, working, the External Action Service and the Commission, which has played a very important role in preparing this package. And this is what will be presented to the ministers, which has the political, the institutionally, it's the Council who takes the decision. You're asking if the European Council could also intervene. Maybe. I am not chairing the European Council, but the European Council is the highest political authority in the European Union. It provides political guidance, but it doesn't take decision. And the Council takes decision under the guidance of the European Council.
Okay, thank you. We go to a question from Lorna Cook. AP, Lorna, your microphone is open already.
Thank you, High Representative. Lorne Cook, the Associated Press. A quick question on Ukraine. I believe there is some support for a Foreign Affairs Council to be held in Kiev. Do you sense a majority for that? Is that something you would support? And if I could ask additionally, why is the EU training mission still going on in Mali when the army's already been involved in 2 coups and the soldiers you're training may be working with the Wagner group?
Nobody talked about sending missions to Mali. Our missions are already in Mali. Our missions are there, and they have been there for many years. And the question is, should they continue? It will depend. It will depend on the conditions that the junta can offer us about the operation and what we are doing there, how the soldiers are going to be working with or without, in cooperation or without cooperation with the Russian mercenaries. Certainly, if they have to work in cooperation with the Russian mercenaries, no. By the time being, the missions are there. I am not saying anything about sending missions. The question is, should we continue? Should we leave? Or should we, as we have done in Central African Republic, to remain by frozen our activities by the time being? Everything has to be done according with the conditions that the junta will offer us, and this is being discussed by a mission. But not maybe the confusion is, I said I'm sending a mission. It was not a military mission. The mission is my Secretary General in charge of military missions, together with a technical staff, is the one who I sent to Mali. But this is not a military mission. It's to discuss about the military missions who are already out there. Oh yes, it's a possibility. a possibility, but the circumstances maybe will be much. The possibility is about holding a meeting of the Foreign Affairs Council in Kiev. Yes, why not? But it will depend on the circumstances. And the circumstances right now, they were quite different from at the beginning of the meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning. At 9 o'clock in the morning, we were still thinking on holding high-level meetings between President Putin and President Biden, other formats, more people at high-level diplomatic activities. At the end of the day, the scenario is completely different because we are no longer talking about summits, but decision taken, maybe, could be taken by President Putin about recognition, independence of this oblast, this part of the Ukrainian territory. Yeah, and a completely different scenario.
Thank you, and we take one last question because High Representative has to run for a train connection, so please go ahead.
ZDF, German TV. You were, High Representative, you were stressing the need for unanimity in the Council to decide on sanctions. In view of this unanimity, to what extent do you think other important issues, fundamental issues to the EU, have to step down in importance, as, for example, the ruling of the European Court of Justice in Poland and Hungary's state of the rule of law?
No veo la relación. Disculpe, sorry, I haven't understood your question. I don't see the relationship between this sentence about the rule of law in Poland and what we are talking on the Ukrainian crisis, which would better say Russian crisis. But
I'm quite happy to elaborate.
I don't see the report.
I'm quite happy. You need unanimity, you said. There is countries in the EU Council who are not only of different opinion on Russia, maybe, but also on what the fundamental values of the EU are. And to ensure unanimity, I wonder to what extent it is necessary now to put these subjects aside.
I still don't see the report because unanimity on the issue of Ukraine is guaranteed. Everybody agrees. There is no need to talk about other questions that are not related with.
So the EU will proceed on these matters?
As I said, it will put the proposal on the table and the member states will decide by unanimity. But until now, there is a clear and a strong unity about it.
Okay, thank you very much, High Representative. Colleagues, thank you very much, and sorry, we really have to run, so thank you for staying and have a nice evening. Bye.